I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Let's move on to pages 53 and 54 of the Grade 5 Discovering Music Theory workbook, where we get the opportunity to choose the chords which will best represent the melody line here. So the melody line is going to imply chords and we need to choose which is the best options for cadence points. So we get kind of a mini ending and then the ending of a piece of music here. And now we're going to have to choose whether the key is major or minor. We've already discussed this, there's nothing new. However, now we've got to do the thinking for ourselves, and the principle is exactly the same. And if you find that your chords just aren't fitting, chances are you've got the wrong key. So we're going to have melody notes which will imply a harmony note, and then we're going to also have some in between non-harmony notes, just filling in a little bit of a musical gap as it were. So let's have a look at exercise 6A. So we could be in B flat major or we could be in G minor. G minor would require a raised seventh of an F sharp. That's not here, and so we must therefore be in the major key. The major key with two flats is B flat major. So we are going to be looking to imply chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. If chord 1 is based on the tonic, that's B, C, D, E, F. Of course there are flats, but your key signature will deal with that. You can write them out if you like. You could say B flats and E flats. But your key signature will do all of that thinking for you. So let's see what we've got here. We have an F. We're in the treble clef. We have an F, a B flat, a C and a D. And so B, D, F is chord 1, which is all represented there. This C is a non-harmony note, it's a passing note, it's always in step, filling in the in-between gap between these two harmony notes. A passing note is always passing through in step. And then here, now we can kind of guess what's going to happen here. For a start, we can take a kind of a wild guess and think, well, it's not the end, we don't want it to sound finished yet, it's probably chord 5. But also, we also need to think that an imperfect cadence is the only one that could explain chord 1 first, because an imperfect cadence is anything to 5. That's the only way that we can progress from chord 1. And so it should be a chord 5. Let's see if that fits. We have a C and an F. We get 2 parts of chord 5. And so that's nicely explained. So cadence 1, we can now say is imperfect. And then let's look at cadence point 2, and we've got a precursor to that as well. So here we have an E, a G and a C. Of course it's an E flat, which is chord 2, and chord 2 always provides a nice lead into a cadence point. It's a good kind of lead in chord, a nice fill in chord. Then we have an F, A, C, which is chord 1. Chord 5. I'm jumping ahead because I'm about to say that then that's got to be a perfect cadence leading to 1. We can kind of guess it's going to be a nice round off finish, but 5 to 1 is our perfect cadence, the only way to explain what could come afterwards. And we have a B flat and a D, which is indeed chord 1. And so we have a nice lead-in chord, and then we have a perfect cadence. Let's have a look at exercise B. So we need to figure out what key we're in first of all. It could be A major, could be F sharp minor. If it's F sharp minor, we'll need to look for the raised seventh and E sharp. There aren't any E's here until the end. Here's an E and it's not sharpened, so we can be certain that we're in A major. If we missed that and we tried F sharp minor, you'd soon find that your chords don't fit and you'd know that you were on the wrong track. So we're looking for 1, 2, 4 and 5 in A major. A is 1, B, D, E, first, third, fifth. So then we have a B, a C, D, F. Of course it's an F sharp, but your key signature deals with that. So that nicely explains chord 2, apart from this note, which is just filling in next or through by step. That's a passing note, that's a non-harmony note. Just passing through, filling in that in-between gap, always by step, passing note, that's the official term. We can have lots of other alterations, but when it passes through by step, it's called a passing note. And so really, the only explanation here, anything to chord 5 is an imperfect cadence, and that seems the most sensible. We can kind of guess that's going to happen. It doesn't always, but we don't want it to sound finished yet. And we have a G sharp and a B, which gives us 2/3 of chord 5. That's enough to tell us we're correct. So again, that's an imperfect cadence. And then let's see what we have here. So we have an E, a C sharp, A, and then, oh, finish that off. Too busy rushing. And then we have a G sharp. So A, C sharp, E is chord 1. So we've got, that's the best representation. And then this G sharp here is a non-harmony note, and you can see it's just passing through by step. It's our passing note, just filling in the stepwise gap to the next chord. Then we have an F sharp, a G, an A, and a D. So DFA best explains this. That's a chord 4. And again, we can see that G sharp isn't really a harmony note, it's just passing through again, just a passing note. And so that explains that one away, just a little melodic embellishment there. And really we can only now go to one chord, which could be chord 1, to explain this chord. Oh, actually no, silly me. It could be a chord 5, couldn't it? The composer could decide us to leave us hanging here, because anything to 5 will also be an option. If we want it to sound finished, it's got to be a chord 1 for a plagal cadence. Let's see what the composer does. We have an E and an A. Well, although chord 5 has got an E, which would be the imperfect, it's not got, we can't explain anything else, and the chord 1 is 2/3 represented. That's a better fit. That's the only way we can explain both of those notes. So it's a 4/1. It is indeed a plagal cadence. Let's turn over, and so perhaps now you could try this next set of exercises on your own, and it's okay if it goes wrong. You can just always erase it out and have another go. It's always best to learn by your mistakes. I'm hoping that you've had a go of these two, exercise C and D. Let's see what's going on here then. So we could be in a major, we could be in a minor key, but there's a big clue here and here. This is where a flat has been raised to a natural. That is our raised sevenths. And if E is the seventh, that's E to the 8th, which is F, which tells us we're in F minor, which shares the same key signature as A flat major. And so I'll just pull that down there. So we can see the 7th is the E, going to the F, 7 to 8. And so F minor shares the same key signature as A flat major. So we know that we're in F minor. So chords 1, 2, 4 and 5, F, G, A, B flat, C. Your key signature deals with everything except from this raised 7th, which always falls in the middle of chord 5, F, A, C, G, B, D, B, D, F, C, E, G. However, it's not part of the key signature, it's E natural. That's the one we've got to watch out for. So let's see what we've got here. We've got an A flat, an F and a C. Well, that's nicely representing chord 1. This is the only note that doesn't fit, and that's a passing note. That G is just passing through by step chord 1. Here, there's our big clue. It's got to be chord 5. It falls as part of chord 5. That's the strong part of the chord that's leading us to sort of feel like we're hanging on because we're desperately waiting for it to resolve home to chord 1. So we're in the middle of the piece. It doesn't sound finished yet. And then now, let's see what we've got here. We've got a G and a D. Well, that's nicely 2/3 part of chord 2 explained. Here again, there's our big clue. We've got this middle part, the raised 7th forms the middle part of chord 5. Let's see what we've got. We've got a C, an E natural. We've got an F and a G. Now the F doesn't fit as part of that. It's outvoted by all these others. It's definitely a chord 5, and that's a passing note. We can see it's passing through. Notice this time that it falls on the strong part of the beat, the main accented part of the beat, and so actually we call that an accented passing note. It falls on the strong part of the beat and then resolves to part of the chord there. The important thing to note is you've got the full 3 parts of the chord. That's outvoted as just not fitting at all. It's still chord 5. And then really we can expect that to resolve to chord 1. It's got to be a perfect cadence. That E has got to fall to the tonic. And then we've got chord F. And so although we could choose chord 4, 5 to 4 isn't a recognised cadential progression. 5 to 1, however, is. That's our perfect cadence. So we've got an imperfect cadence at the halfway point, which makes sense. It doesn't sound finished yet. And then we've got a perfect cadence with a nice chord 2 lead in here. Let's have a look at this next one. And again, we've got a big clue. We've got this accidental here, this extra sharp that's not part of our key signature. That's got to be the 7th. And if B sharp is the 7th, the 8th has got to be C sharp. So we've got B sharp to C sharp, 7 to 8. And we know that C sharp minor is related to E major with a key signature of 4 sharps. So we know that we're in C sharp minor. We're choosing from chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. If C sharp is our tonic, D, E, F, G. Of course all of these are sharps. Your key signature will deal with all of that. We don't need to worry. You can put them in if you like. The only one that we absolutely have to is the B sharp. We've got to show the raised 7th as an accidental. That's not part of your key signature. So let's see what we've got here. We've got the harmony notes of F sharp, A sharp. Oh no, it's not A sharp, silly me, I'm in the wrong key. It's F, A and D sharp, and then that tells us we've got a chord 2. This is our passing note, just passing through in step, not part of the chord. And this has got to be chord 5. It's the only way we can explain that raised 7th. And of course, with the B sharp and the G sharp tells us that we're correct. So there's our imperfect cadence. It's got to be chord 5 there because there's no other recognised cadential progression from chord 2, whereas anything to chord 5 is our imperfect cadence. Then let's see what we've got here. We've got a C sharp, a G sharp and an E. So they are in the key signature, and there's our E, which is a chord 1. Then we have an F sharp, an A and a C sharp. And then we have the F sharp again, which is everything of a chord 1. And so it's got to now go to either chord 5 to be imperfect or chord 1 to be plagal. Let's see what we've got. We've got a G sharp and a C sharp. That's 2/3 of the chord 1. That's enough to tell us it's going to chord 1 for a plagal cadence. So we've got an imperfect in the middle of the melody, not finished yet, leaves us hanging. The melody continues and then it finishes with a nice full close, a nice gentle plagal cadence. And that's exercise 6 completed. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons, you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.